had one of those days? You know what I'm talking about. You go to work, you bust your ass, you work your fingers to the bone, and you do your job to the best of your ability, and yet somehow you can still feel totally underappreciated. It's just one of those days for me. But enough of that horse shit. I'm here now, I'm home, I'm doing what I love, which is talking to you, my ever-faithful audience, and we're going to get into another horror movie review. And today, we're going to be discussing the early 80s horror film, Alligator. And this particular version of the movie I got is a bootleg DVD. And it seems to be written in Chinese or Japanese or Cantonese, but to be perfectly honest, I really can't tell. So I'm hoping that the actual movie itself is, the American one, with just some subtitles over it. I mean, with these bootlegs, no one can ever really tell. But in terms of the movie Alligator, it's one of my absolute favorite horror movies. I remember watching this at a pretty young age, and, I always thought it was fun. I have a soft spot for giant monster movies. I like huge animals just running around causing havoc. This is probably going to be a real treat. I can't wait to dive right into it and forget about my shitty workday. And while I do that, why don't y'all motherfuckers peep the trailer, and when we get back, we're going to discuss Alligator.
It lives 50 feet beneath the streets. It's 36 feet long. It weighs over 2,000 pounds. It's killed 5 people already. And it's about to break out. Alligator.
Oh man, was it ever awesome to see this movie again. Alligator just hit the fucking spot, and I gotta admit, this movie holds up terrifically. But yeah, as I was sitting there watching the movie, I felt like the special effects really held up. It's an awesome mix between, latex and puppet work, meets rotoscoping and actual scenes of alligators. And the combination is pretty flawless considering this is an early 1980s horror movie. And in a lot of cases, this looks a million times better than some of the modern day sci-fi schlock you're going to see on TV. Another thing I liked about this movie was the actors. Everybody in it is, incredibly engaging. They're funny. There's little bits of humor here and there sprinkled throughout the film, but for the most part, this is played deadpan serious. And, considering movies like this were kind of like an offshoot of the popularity that the movie Jaws kind of brought forth in the cinema during that time period, this is kind of the low-budget answer to Jaws. It kind of goes for an R rating. There's a lot of blood, a lot of limbs get chewed off. There's a lot of cussing and a lot of adult subject matter. So, what people found lacking in maybe Spielberg's original Jaws in terms of horror exploitation, they might find here. Personally speaking, I like both films. Another thing I like about the movie Alligator is it's a perfect time capsule for the early 1980s. I consider this urban horror because you get to see, how the inner city was during the time period that this movie was filmed in. And, I love watching movies that just kind of send you back. And that's exactly what this movie does, is it just sends me back to my childhood. I absolutely love it. So out of 10 stars, I'm going to give this one a real high number. I'm going to give this one an 8. It's not the best horror movie I've ever seen, but in terms of giant alligator films, it's probably the best. So if you've never seen it, check it out, folks.